Business Bites. Go further and grow stronger with InvestNI. Join local businesses generating billions exporting to Europe. Check your export readiness with InvestNI's free online export health check. Business Bites with InvestNI.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Bites. I'm Caroline Fleck and our guest this week from InvestNI is Steve Harper. Steve, welcome to Business Bites.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Lovely to be here.
Well, we always like to get to know our guests just a little bit more. We're not asking anything too personal, Steve, but you're the Executive Director of International and Skills. Now, you sound like that's a very busy job. What exactly do you do at InvestNI?
So thank you, Caroline. I head up the InvestNI's teams here in Belfast and across the world to help companies to export their products and services right across the world. So at the minute, we have got 31 offices around the world. We've got about 90 of our colleagues in those offices around the world, both looking for opportunities for businesses in Northern Ireland to sell into, but also trying to find those businesses overseas that we think we can attract to Northern Ireland to come here and set up, create jobs, create wealth in our economy. And then the last bit that we do as well is really trying to hook into the Northern Irish diaspora around the world. So those people who are either from here, who've spent time living and working here, to see how they can help us and how they can help companies in Northern Ireland access markets, and also put us on the radar of international companies to try and get Northern Ireland on their agenda.
Absolutely. And and that's exactly the question I wanted to ask you. Why is it so important to increase sales from businesses in our part of the world to other parts outside our region?
Well, look, we're 1.9 million people in Northern Ireland. On the global scale, we are pretty small, if not tiny. And if we're going to grow our economy, which is what we all want to do, because that brings more wealth for all of us, we're not going to do it by selling products and services to ourselves. So it's critical that we start to look for markets outside of Northern Ireland that actually brings that wealth into Northern Ireland. So on one aspect, you've got the larger economic piece that we're trying to drive the economy. But when you bring that down to actually into a firm level about what it is about exporting that's important, it diversifies risk, essentially, is what it does. So you're not reliant on maybe just the Northern Ireland market or the UK market. If they take a slight tumble, you've got those other markets to rely on. By being in those global markets and being more successful, that creates more jobs here in Northern Ireland. And it creates, typically, all of the research shows that companies who export pay higher wages as well. So again, that's important because that brings more wealth for all of us into Northern Ireland, and it makes them much more resilient. But the really interesting thing is that it forces companies to be more innovative and creative, which is a great thing, because whilst you can be competitive in your home market, sometimes you've got to change your product. You've got to think of different ways of doing things to be much more innovative, to stay competitive in, say, the French market or the German market.
And obviously, you mentioned, going outside the comfort zone for businesses. I mean, we naturally, of course, look to our closest regions, or the Republic of Ireland, Great Britain. What are the opportunities outside of those?
Yeah, we're really lucky actually in terms of geographically where we're located. So yeah, we're a small part of the island of Ireland, so we actually have an export market right on our doorstep that doesn't require getting on a plane or getting on a boat. A lot of our companies are naturally selling into the Republic of Ireland, so they are, I guess, if you like, exporting already. Some of them don't really consider that exporting; they consider it just selling down the road to them. When you look at in what we have in Northern Ireland, we've got about 9,500 businesses that are selling into GB, and we've got about 11,000 that are selling into the Republic of Ireland, and many of those are micro and small businesses. But when we look at selling into the rest of Europe, it's only really 3,500 businesses selling into Europe. So the potential that we have to get more companies to look at that is, clearly there's a potential for growth right there. One of the of our most popular programs that we have for companies who are maybe selling into GB and the Republic of Ireland is a program called Going Dutch, where we really put a wraparound service around to companies here to help them research the Dutch market, to maybe find partners and find potential customers for them. But we also then help them with pitching. How are we going to pitch to that? And some people say, well, why Holland? Why are you going to the Netherlands? What is it that makes it such a, I guess, a key place to take somebody on an early stage exporting? They've got quite a similar culture to ourselves. Obviously, English language is spoken very, very frequently and readily in the Dutch market, and so that makes things a little bit easier for us. But it really does become a good starter market, if you like. And we've got scores of examples of companies who have maybe gone to Holland for their very first time and have secured their first export order there. And that has been the launchpad to take them into other global markets, which is what we're really trying to do.
And Steve, you alluded to the very unique position that businesses in Northern Ireland are in, and that obviously is as a result of the Windsor framework. Just remind us, first of all, about the Windsor framework and why we're in such a unique position.
Yeah, so the Windsor framework and the Northern Ireland Protocol, if you like, has kept Northern Ireland in the single market for goods and for manufactured goods. And what that means is that companies here can sell their product with no documentation or those non-tariff barriers into the EU, but also maintaining the same trading arrangements that we've always had with GB. So for manufactured products in Northern Ireland, you can, if you're based here, sell those products without all of those tariffs and I guess non-tariff barriers such as customs declarations, those sorts of things. We see huge opportunities. Companies who are already selling into the Republic of Ireland are selling into the EU, and they can continue to take their product into France or Germany or Holland or Spain by doing nothing different to what they're doing, selling 50, 80 miles down to Dundalk or into Louth. So we see big opportunities here to put those market opportunities on the radar of companies here. And again, using our office network, which we've really ramped up over the last number of years right across Europe to help them find those opportunities that they can take advantage of and get some sales into the EU.
Absolutely, and it is about being aware of those benefits of dual market access, isn't it?
It is, and we've got companies here who are solely selling to the Republic of Ireland, and actually, what we're trying to say to them as well is actually we've got the GB market on our doorstep, and you can do exactly the same as you're doing in the Republic of Ireland in GB. And much like we've got that office network across the EU, we also have an office network across GB that can help companies find their way into those supply chains. And what's interesting in the supply chain piece is that if you have the opportunity to get into a European supply chain, maybe a French manufacturer, the fact that you're based in Northern Ireland and can sell and be considered in that supply chain gives that end user that confidence that they can continue to buy with no disruptions or interruptions to their supply chain. So really important.
And one of the other invaluable assets from Invest NI especially is the new campaign that you're actually running at the minute. It's the Go Further, Grow Stronger campaign. Let us in on exactly who is that aimed to and what is it about?
So Go Further, Grow Stronger is really aimed at trying to get more businesses into exporting and trying to inspire them and educate them and build the ambition in those businesses to try and take that step into those other markets. We know that it can feel daunting. And that's why we're here to help. We're here to hold hands. We're here to advise. We're here to do that. As I said before, we've got just about 3,500 businesses who are selling into the EU. There are 80,000 businesses in Northern Ireland. There's potential for us to get more of those businesses into that and to really grow our economy is huge. And so what does it do? It really tries to educate companies about what are the steps that you need to take. So first steps, if someone sees the campaign, I would recommend they go to investni.com/export, where you can see how we as an agency can help that company grow further. We have a link on there to a very quick 10-minute export health check, which really takes you through the steps, asks you some very basic questions. What type of product or service is it that you supply to? How many employees have you got? What's your turnover? And they are very, very basic questions to, I guess, at the end of that, come out with a little bit of a diagnostic as to where you are on in terms of readiness on that getting ready to export scale. We also offer everyone who completes that an opportunity to chat to one of our business advisors to see actually how can we put some more meat in the bone to help you do that. So it's really about, as I said at the start, educating, informing, and just trying to instill that ambition into companies in Northern Ireland to go further and grow stronger.
And let's hope that we've maybe started them on that path by watching Business Bites today. Steve Harper from Invest NI, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for watching.
Business Bites. Go further and grow stronger with Invest NI. Join local businesses generating billions, exporting to Europe. Check your export readiness with Invest NI's free online export health check. Business Bites with Invest NI.